of Hell's eternal day. On the mount of crucifixion, fountains open deep and wide. Through the floodgates of God's mercy flowed a vast and gracious tide. Oh, grace and love like mighty rivers poured in the and perfect justice kiss the guilty world in love. Let me all your love accepting, love you ever all my days. Oh, let me seek your kingdom only, and my life be to your praise. Oh, you alone shall be my glory. Nothing yourself has set me free. Play it. Here we go. Come on. Oh. Oh, for 1,000 It's 8 o'clock on a Sunday. Regular crowd shuffles in. There's an old man, he's sitting next to me, making love to his tonic and gin. He said, son, can you play me a memory? I'm not really sure how it goes, but it's sad and it's sweet, and I knew it complete when I wore a younger man's clothes. La la la, la la la. la 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 la. Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody, and you've got us feeling all right. John at the bar, he's a friend of mine. He gets me my drinks for free, and he's quick with a joke. He'll light up your smoke, but there's some place that he'd rather be. He said, John, I believe this is killing me. As a smile ran away from his face. Oh, I know I could be a big movie star if I could get out of this place. La 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 la. Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody, and you've got us feeling all right. Pretty good crowd for Sunday. And the manager. And I just must explain what this attire is all about. Sue, frighten the animals. Go on. There's the eye. And if your dogs are not howling at this very moment, and your cats and your pet snakes are not screaming, I would think the only people that would really like it would be tarantulas.
You're mean. You're just plain
I would.
mean.
So, to those of you who've got them, Karen Bate, people like you.
Rachel's giving you the test signal.
Oh, right. Okay, well.
You're being cruel to me and my suffering.
Oh.
Actually, I think I'm rocking the sunglasses.
Well, yeah, you went and bought these, didn't you? At
I
great
did.
expense.
So
How much were they?
Oh, £10.
Sorry, stop me.
Okay,
£10.
excuse me. How much did yours cost?
They cost 200 and something pounds. And the reason they cost something too, because I've got an image to sustain. You forget that. I've got sunglasses as well. All right?
I know. They were also £200.
Yeah, no. But that was the reason why. It's because they're trifocals or whatever they are. Multi.
Is it trifocusing?
No, I'm trying hard to focus. But no, they are. What are they called? Varifocals. Varifocals. I mean, they're having a laugh. I said, I don't want to buy the company. I just wanted to have a pair of sunglasses. So, and they said, well, your eyes have deteriorated substantially, Mr. Veira. And so I said, well, I didn't need you to tell me that. But anyway, there we are. It is now a deterioration, but I hope you like them. They're see-through now. They're much more trendy. Apparently, I'm on trend. It's taken me how many years to get on trend? 62. And I didn't even know.
I think you might find that they were
mistake.
on trend.
Was I? Well, they were
last
about.
year.
I go round in a circle, and eventually
chasing the trend.
The clock is always right twice. You see, that's what you say, even a stop clock, isn't it? That's right. So anyway, so that's your injury tonight.
Anyway, so I apologise that my conjunctivitis means that I can't necessarily. I might take them off later if I'm feeling.
Yeah, if you're feeling courageous.
It's just a bit bright.
I would just shut your animals away in the cupboards and the other room. That's all.
Oh,
right?
just finish the song.
If you're, so it's a. I think it was something like it's a pretty good crowd for a Sunday. And the manager, well, she gives me a smile.
She does.
You couldn't do chromatic looking, could you? You have to keep going up by increments. Because she knows that it's me. Still. Mm-hmm. That's on the name on the can. Okay? They've been coming to see. To forget about life for a while. Oh, and the piano, it sounds like a carnival. And the microphone, it smells like a beer. La 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 la. Sing us a song in the piano hand. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody. You've got us feeling all right. With the
Very good. So anyone who had money on it, that was 7 minutes 13.
I bet you Chloe did.
Chloe's on a walk back from church.
Well, here we go. This is a song of beautiful optimism written by myself and Paul Field. The words were by Paul. I only gave him the idea and the little chords. Here we go. Enjoy it. A little bit of optimism in the face of, I don't know, government alarms going off at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and all the other things that are happening around at the moment. Been a long time traveling down this hard and rocky road. We're all just trying to survive, walking together and sharing the load, doing all we can to stay alive. I believe the journey's nearly over. I believe these troubled times will end. I believe we'll find a better place just around the bend. We may be weary and sometimes we just don't know how we can keep on keeping on. Take one day at a time and trust that history will show. When we're united, we are strong. I believe the journey is nearly over. I believe these troubled times will end. I believe we'll find a better place just around the bend. So take care of each other, for we all need a hope that heals, a love that mends. Even when the darkness is as far as we can see, the sun will shine again, I believe, just around the bend. A little instrumental now. Just around the bend. So take care of each other, for we all need a hope that heals, a love that mends. Even when the darkness is as far as we can see, the sun will shine again, I believe, just around the bend. Ooh, just around the bend. So take care. Oh, I believe the journey's nearly over. I believe these troubled times will end. I believe we'll find a better place just around the bend. Just around the bend, I believe a better place we'll find. Just around the bend. Just around the bend. I like to sing a little bit of Song of Optimism, even if I get some of the words wrong. Who cares?
Who cares?
They're
It's
all
still a great
now
song.
great
Still
song.
a great song.
I want to read something talking about about this is quite funny.
Okay.
Well, it's not funny. It's a bit serious, really. And I just need to read it to you. Let me put it in here. It was sent by Andy, and he was sent it in a very strange mood, really. And
Strange and Andy.
Strange and Andy, really. And he said, I was sitting at the bar, staring at my drink, when a very large, troublemaking biker steps up next to me, grabs my drink, and gulps it down. Then he says menacingly, "So what you going to do about that, then, mate?" I burst into tears.
Shame.
I know, it's very sad.
So sad.
"Come on, man." The biker said, "I don't think you'd cry. I didn't think you'd cry. I mean, I can't stand to see a man crying." I said to him, "Mate, this is the worst day of my life. I'm a complete failure. I was late for a meeting and my boss fired me. When I went to the parking lot, I found my car had been stolen and I don't have any insurance. I left my wallet in the cab I took home. I found my wife with another man and my dog bit me. So I came to this bar to work up the courage to put an end to it all. I buy a drink, I drop a poison capsule in and sit here watching the poison dissolve. And then you show up and drink the whole thing." But enough about me. How's your day going?
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Andy. That was very.
Thank you, Andy.
that was very good. And there's another one which is. I just want to say to all of you listening live now, mainly, "Hi Alexa, how are you?"
Stop it. Oh dear.
I hope your Alexas have gone off.
Well, he was very upset earlier.
Well,
because he asked Alexa to play something. She said, "I have no idea what you're talking about."
He said, "That's right."
Yes.
Well, apparently, there's going to be those that don't want Alexa listening in, because apparently that's what Alexa does. They're creating a new one, a male one. So it's going to be, it doesn't matter, because they're just not going to listen to anything.
No.
So that's it, really. That's. So Alexa, how you?
Honestly,
I
he's a child. He's a child.
I am, but look, I love messing people's lives up. That's what we're here to do.
Listen,
on
let's
a
be
Sunday
serious
night.
for a second. I just want to say welcome. Welcome to everyone,
Oh.
but particularly if you are watching us for the
For
first
the first time since last night.
And we had a fantastic concert
did.
over in Flackwell Heath. Thanks to Alan Dye. I know you're watching with us, so thank you, Alan, for all the effort that you put in. It really paid off. What
A very good
fantastic
man you are
crowd.
indeed.
And they were really chirpy and they were really up for it. So thank you for all your hard work. And thank you, everyone who's watching tonight. It's marvellous to have some newcomers tonight. So thank you for watching. And if you are watching first time, you can just send us a little message either through Facebook or YouTube, whatever you're watching, and we'll say hello to you. So please do that. This one's for Helen Thomas. Helen, it was your birthday yesterday. Happy birthday. This song is for you.
Let there be you. Let there be me. Let there be oysters under the sea. Let there be wind, occasional rain, chili con carne, sparkling champagne. Let there be birds singing in the trees, someone to bless me whenever I sneeze. Let there be cuckoos knocking the door. But first of all, please, let there be love. Let there be cuckoos knocking the door. Let there be love. Let there be love. Let there be cuckoos like a dove. But first of all, please. But most of all, please. But first of all, please. Let there be love. 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 Oh, no. When did I last do that, Susan?
Yeah, a few years ago.
Yeah, it was, wasn't
I
it?
think it was. I just realised that with the sunglasses, yes, well, that's because the glasses break when you have them with you. I gave you a child's bottle. So to keep.
Does anyone want to see my injury?
No, we don't want to see your injury.
Do you want to see my injury?
No,
Right.
we don't. I was just
Falling out of bed
realising
injury.
that, I realised that with my sunglasses on, you can't actually see me rolling my eyes and glaring at him. So
And why would you need to do that?
well, I've done a lot of that behind these sunglasses, so I thought they ought to see it.
So what's your week been like, Sue? What's been going on in your life, love? I haven't really spoken to you much.
Oh, what's gone on this week? I've had a good week.
Oh, I tell you what, this woman, do not get ill. She will bury you.
Oh, don't be mean.
She's now this is a woman who started from a standing start, and now she's on her 8th.
I've done 5 funerals, for those of you who don't understand what he's talking about, and I've got 3 more in the diary. So I'm very, very pleased. So I'm very...
Yeah, you were great. You were great.
If I could be pleased about people dying, I'm not pleased about people dying. Of course I'm not. But I am grateful to have the opportunity to, and privileged actually, to get to know these families and to spend some time with them and to try and do a good job for them.
And actually, without spoiling any confidences, you've had some really good times with people, just sitting and listening. That's using your skills.
Yeah.
So what I'm proud of her for, actually, everybody.
Thank you.
So I want you to know it's been taking a long time to find something that, as somebody said, it's been a perfect fit for her, using all her nice person skills, her presentational skills, her intellectual skills, and all the things that she does very well.
Well, thank you.
So I'm very, very pleased. And so I wish though, last night, you didn't keep approaching all 120 members, giving them your card. I think it's too much, love. And saying, you're a little bit peaky. You know, things like that doesn't help. Well, your wife's looking at me. Don't say that. All right, that's my suggestion to you out there in the big wide world. All right? So, now...
So, you asked me about my week, so I had a lovely...
I thought that was it.
Well, no, I wanted to give a bit more detail. I had a lovely meeting with a
people
family,
Law to Live, I can
and
say
then
out
I
there.
did a funeral for someone else on the Friday, so it's been a busy week.
It has. And we're going up to Scotland, aren't we, at the end of next week?
So we had a lovely trip up to Flackwell Heath, as I said yesterday, and that was
a
lovely
great
and
show.
close.
In aid of Restored, if you buy Becca Legs. And we're going to talk about them in just a minute, Steve and Becca. But it was in aid of Restored, and it was a lovely owl who introduced it. It was a full church. They laughed from the minute they walked in. I think they were just laughing at me, Sue.
Yes.
Or were they laughing with me? I can't work it out. It doesn't matter.
The best joke of the evening was not yours.
No, it
the
wasn't.
best joke of the evening was Jonathan was telling the story of us doing the kidney transplant, and Jonathan's normal, witticism is, she's donated me her kidney, and I'm going to get her feet next, and then I'm going to donate my brain to her when I die. And the guy said from the audience, he said, "What about her hair? Don't you want to donate her hair to you?"
It's nice, isn't it? But I think
Which was the biggest laugh of the evening.
Yeah, well, it was not the biggest laugh of the evening.
I think
there were other things that were laughable. Anyway, enough about this. We have a great guest for you tonight, a really great friend, an old friend now for many, many years. was in the Christian music business and then became head of the Compassion UK, the CEO, and was the reason that we became involved with Compassion at that time.
Absolutely.
And went out to Ethiopia. And we're going to talk to him. He's coming in just in around half an hour or so. And sorry, you want to say
I
something?
just wanted to say that we are hoping that the show is going to be problem-free tonight, because Rachel has sent us a very long
cable,
very long cable to go from our router all the way through the house to go straight into the machine. So far we haven't dropped any frames. There are no problems so far.
So it's going
absolutely fine. So I'm really hoping that dear Rachel has.
She's maimed my house.
Yes, that's right.
For life.
So you've got to be careful running up and down the stairs at the moment.
There are so many. I'm looking at the back here,
Yes.
and what you can't see, there are thousands of cables everywhere, and one of them now going up our staircase.
Yes.
To the west wing, into the bedroom.
Yes.
Anyway, enough. I think actually I want to sing a song. I just fancy to God be the glory.
Okay.
Oh no! Oh, should I sing "You Raise Me Up"?
Do You Raise Me Up?
Yeah. Okay. And
This is for
a woman called Maria. Now, I don't know whether you're watching tonight. I don't think so.
No, I think she might be watching on Catch Up.
But you're watching on Catch Up. And Lynn Bird, you've asked if I would do this. I did it last night, and it's this one is for this lady called Maria. I should have gone, Maria, I once had a girl named Maria, and everything she did or something, Maria. I don't know that one, it's a tenor aria, but I would have sung that one. Or how do you solve a problem like Maria? There were no problems with you at all, Maria. Apparently you were wonderful with Lynn and Jim when they went away. And Lynn and Jim, we send you congratulations on managing to get away, because that must have been a major feat when you got to you were that close to being in hospital and not being able to do this. So I was deeply impressed by your efforts to get to, where did you go? Where did they go? Spain? Crete. And you sent us photographs and everybody was commenting, and so it was lovely to see you there, and that you got the opportunity to go there and get some lovely sun and vitamin D and feel better. I hope you're feeling okay tonight as you go for your next scan, I think in the week, I think it is. So, this one is When I Am Down and oh my soul so weary, when trouble comes and my heart burdened be, then I'm still and waiting in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. There is no life without its hunger. Each wretched heart beats so imperfectly. But when you come and I'm filled with wonder, sometimes I think I glimpse eternity. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. Then I am strong when I'm on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I am strong when I'm on your shoulders. Yes, you raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. Then I'm strong when I'm on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be. A little song for you from my album Youve Project 1, little version I wrote of this. To God be the glory, great things He has done. So loved He the world that He gave us His Son, who yielded His life and atonement for sin, and open life gates that all may go in. So praise to the Lord, let the earth hear His voice. Oh, praise to the Lord, let the people rejoice. Oh, come to the Father, to Jesus the Son, and give Him glory, great things He has done. Oh, give Him glory, great things He has done. Perfect redemption, the purchase of blood. To every believer, the promise of God. The vilest offender who truly believes, from Jesus a pardon receives. So praise to the Lord, let the earth hear His voice. Oh, praise to the Lord, let the people rejoice. Oh, come to the Father through Jesus the Son, and give Him glory, great things He has done. Oh, give Him glory, great things He has done. Great things He has done, and great our rejoicing through Jesus the Son. But purer and higher and greater will be our sense of wonder when Jesus we see. Joining with me now. So praise to the Lord, let the earth hear His voice. Oh, praise to the Lord, let the people rejoice. Oh, come to the Father through Jesus the Son, and give Him glory, great things He has done. Oh, give Him glory, great things He has done. So praise to the Lord, let the earth hear His voice. Oh, praise to the Lord, let the people rejoice. Oh, come to the Father through Jesus the Son. little bit of from Debussy.
Debussy at the end. That was lovely.
Always put that little one.
I enjoyed
Remember
that?
that?
That's good.
That's about 5 years old now, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, must
5
be.
years old, that one. And I'm going to do another one from that album. And that's a great album. If you haven't got it, get it. It's Hymns Project 1. Order it now while stocks last. And stocks are lasting. So we'd love to empty our cupboard on you. And if you haven't got that one, Hymns Project 1, Hymns Project 2, it's a great recording. And I know, if you remember, if you don't have to have a CD player, if you've still got a DVD player or you've got a CD player in the car, then you can order these things. Now, a lot of you haven't ordered stuff for a long time because a lot of you've got everything. But if you haven't and you've got a tenner to spare, then we'll send it to you as soon as we can. It's sitting in the garage waiting for Sue to send it. So Hymns Project 1 and 2. Sue, some notices before I say something quite...
My lovely peeps. So, as we said, we had a marvellous show last night in Flackwell Heath. So we're in a run of 4 every week at the moment. So we are on the 29th. I apologise that previous weeks we gave you the wrong date. But on 29th, which is next Saturday, we will be up in Scotland. As we said, we are going up to Scotland. So long journey up on Friday. And then on the... following Saturday, we're in Blairgowrie, which is will be up in near Dundee. I think we will be, and then the week after that, we're in Sheringham. Now I know a lot of people are planning to come to Sheringham, but if anyone's up in Scotland and fancy a visit to Troon or to Blairgowrie, it would be wonderful to see you. It was fantastic seeing so many people from the community last night. We had a great time, and it would be lovely to repeat that experience with other people up in Scotland. Then in June, on the 17th, we are in Southport. So again, we're hoping to see a few people from up there. And then on the 24th, we'll be in Newbury. On July, we will be July the 8th, sorry. July the 8th, we will be in Churchdown near Gloucester. So that takes us up to the end of the sort of summer term, as it were. And if you're wondering about details, then you need to go to the website, which is jonathanveira.com, and all the details are up there as to how to get tickets, etc. We have a lovely couple of weeks in the end of August, where we will be in Thornley Hotel in Grange over Sands. We are doing 2 residential weeks. One before the 26th and one after, because on the 26th will be Jonathan doing a concert at Victoria Hall in Grange over Sands. So you can either do just a week, or you can do a week and the concert, or you could do a concert, a concert and the week after, or you could do 2 weeks with a concert in the middle. It's entirely up to you. It depends on the pennies, but it's just going to be fantastic. And we are looking forward to it. It's going to be hard work, but we are indeed looking forward to it. I know a few of you are coming, so that's going to be great. Then at the end of September, we have a trip up to Stoke-on-Trent. If you would like to put on a show, but you're not too sure how to do it, then you need to contact me, because I am the one that will tell you exactly how to go about it, what to do and how to do it. I won't deny it. It can be hard work, but boy, is it worth it. It is just fantastic to see people come, to hear all the comments afterwards, to know that you have produced something that gives such joy and such pleasure to people.
Best show I've been to in years. Quote yesterday.
Yeah, it's just
I didn't know anything about you. You're magnificent. You are so good looking. You're so great.
That was just
You're
me,
such a great.
wasn't it?
No, it was me, definitely. Just putting the words there for you, just so you know. Okay.
So it's great, and I give you all the help I possibly can. I've got videos for you to show. I've got a whole load of ideas of things that you can do. So I will walk every step of the way with you through it as well. So please contact me on sue@jonathanveira.com. Now, because we have a number of shows, our dates are a bit sporadic. So we will not be with you over the next few weeks because we're away doing shows. On the 21st, we will be back here. And we will be with someone. Don't think we know who it's going to be on the 21st. We have an idea, I think. But the 21st and the 28th of May, we are here. Then in June, it will be the 4th, the 11th, and the 25th.
I think it's going to be playwright Ricky Everett, a very well-known and famous playwright in his time, and he's agreed to do that now. So that's really quite a good idea. What's that?
You're in your little box at the corner. I'm not used to having you in the box.
Yeah, all right. Well, it's not going to last long, so just enjoy
Anyway,
it while you can.
okay,
So Ricky
so-
Everett, that'll be on the 21st
hopefully,
of May.
Ricky.
Hopefully.
So we will put those dates on the website. So a number of you already subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is a marvellous thing to belong to, because Rachel's always putting stuff up there for us, which is fantastic. Every Wednesday, Rachel puts something on YouTube for us. So particularly when you've got a few weeks when we're not around, all kinds of things could go there, and you just want to keep an eye on what Rachel's posting and what we might be posting as short videos. So if you are not already subscribing to our YouTube channel, it costs nothing, but it helps us, and we are tantalizingly close to 1,000 subscribers. So if you could put your little ticks in the right boxes. You don't have to pay anything, but when you go onto YouTube, you just have to click subscribe and the little thumbs up. And if you click the notification bell, you will get told whenever anything new goes onto the channel. So if you haven't done it already, please do it. And do it for all of your email addresses as well. You can do that. So it would be fantastic. So what else do I need to tell you? Richard Lennox is going to be playing the organ for the Prom Praise, which is
the Sanson Organ Symphony. Da 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 dee dee bum ba da bum ba da dee dee. Oh, that one. The symphony number 3 in C minor. And it's an absolutely stonking piece at the Royal Albert Hall, and he's Richard, who's been in this room. You know Richard, absolutely exhaustingly wonderful to listen to. He's so talented and a great character, and you will love going up there to Prom Praise. No, I'm not singing up this time. They haven't asked me. They've asked Richard, so that's what you're going to go and do. So if you can do it, go up to London and have a great evening out with Richard.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic.
And others.
Fantastic. Where else? What else have we got?
You've got a friend. Can we talk?
Hang on, just a second. No, I think we're okay. So that's fine. We'll go back to just Jonathan now. So take him out.
I would like you to talk about you. Could you put "You've Got a Friend" trust up, please?
Right. She will find them and she will put them up.
Okay. Well, just to talk about the trust. You've Got a Friend trust that is operating on your behalf, helping people in need. From your contributions, we've given out, I think, 54 major contributions to people who are in need. And you might be this week in need, and you can do an arm round you. We can't pay your mortgage, we can't do that, but what we can do is help you in the need that you're in. If you know somebody that is it, they do not remember. This is a community of faith and no faith. If you need, and we can help you. There are no strings attached. You don't have to believe to get money, okay? Just simply, or to get help, should we say. So if you have a fridge freezer that's running out, or there's a pram that needs replacing, you just don't have the money, or even a taxi ride to a hospital that you just can't afford. And we think, especially at the moment, we think about Tracy Barker, who's lost her husband just 2 days ago now, yesterday, and sat with him in the Isle of Wight, and he's gone. And it's great sadness that has come upon her, and she's had an awful lot going on. And I don't know quite what's happening with Tracy if she's watching tonight, but we think about her. So many other people in need. That's you've seen it up there on the screen, and if you'd like to contribute, it doesn't matter. Remember the maths of multiples. You give little amounts, and your little amount will make a significant difference, because many people give little amounts. We don't need major donors. I don't want to be in hock to major donors. I want to be in hock to you, and we're responsible and accountable directly to you in the community, and those of you who give. And those who give also receive, as people have so generously given back when they have received money back through whatever means it was, but having been helped by the trust. I talk about that. Now, can I just talk one? I'm just going to be a little bit serious now, and I'm going to sing a big song because I think we need a little bit of hope at the moment. It's been a very tough week on my phone. I think actually I don't even know what I was going to say, but I'm going to say it. And this phone can be an object of awfulness. People can spend their whole lives on it. And I've got great pictures on there looking at things that used to happen in the past. Songs that I've sung in great, huge audiences, and operas that I've done, and performances that I've done. Places I've been and actually I've got some off this phone that you'll see a couple of pictures today. It can also be a thing that reminds us of how fragile life is, because we get constant reminders from friends who have suddenly taken ill. I'm 62, and I know 62, and well, soon 62 and a half years old, and I faced an existential crisis earlier this year, as I have done before, but this particular, about 3 years ago. And again, once I'd had the operation, which is coming up 2 years in June now, since Sue gave me her kidney. So I happen to know a little bit of what that feels like, sitting in a bed, wanting to die, not wanting any fuss anymore. And when I get calls from people, and when I just sit and look, it makes me deeply sad to hear of yet another person who has contracted either cancer, or we've just got another friend with an aortic valve,
split in the
aorta, and it's very, very serious, and he could well die if they don't catch it in time. And so I'm sitting here with an old friend who knows what I mean about loss, and loss of people that you have been very close to. And we remember people tonight who are going through hell, actually. They're going through hell. I don't mince my words. These are terrible times for people who've just received a diagnosis.
It is a valley of shadow, isn't it?
It is the valley of the shadow of death. And I think actually that Psalm 23, that what they don't want, they want you to be calm with them. They don't want verses. They know the verses. They don't want platitudes. They just need your company in a way for you to say, are you okay? How are you feeling today? That's it. How are you feeling today? Don't ask them, are you feeling like this? Are you feeling like that? Just, how are you feeling today? And being constant with them. It's costly, can I tell you that? It's personally costly. I found myself breaking down in tears yesterday, just suddenly for that person. And I remember also the verse in the Bible where, the shortest verse in the Bible, John 11:35, an old brethren boy like me, I remember these verses. And Jesus wept, 2 words. And why was that so profound? Because it showed the extraordinary humanity of Christ when he sees the depth of despair when loss occurs. He looks on and he sees despair, and he weeps. And we weep with those who weep. And I just want to raise with you one person in particular, a number, Peter Southcombe, right at the moment. I don't know whether he's listening tonight, but Peter, if you're listening, with Ruth, your dear wife, we send you our big love. And we just say, we are standing with you in these extraordinarily difficult times. With Richard Donahue in Whitney, we're standing with you in these very difficult times. I'm sorry I couldn't see you Friday. It wasn't a good idea, it wasn't well. We're standing with you. And then we were just coming home the other day, and it was a devastation. We were driving up the road, and we got the news that Steve Legg had been to the oncologist, and the oncologist had started crying, and he wrote to us, and it was just one of those, it was like a kick in the shins, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And it doubled me up, almost physically, did. And the words don't do it justice, but just to say that I genuinely, I just pray that God gives us a heart of total understanding for what he is going through, and others like this are going through, and Bex is going through, because the partner that survives all this nonsense, all this stuff that goes on in our lives, the illnesses and stuff, it's so hard for them. And so I ask you particularly to think of Steve tonight, because in your head so many things go on. And Steve, we send our big love to you tonight.
We do.
And the members of the community who loved the nonsense when you came on here, the lovely stuff that you've been on here, the positive influence that you've been on so many thousands of people across the country. And just this, the Sorted magazine that you run at a loss, you make no money, you do nothing but work hard for the people to do the printing that you do, the ideas, the radio program that you run. There's so many things that you do, so many fingers in so many pies, and you're all to do the same thing, which is you've got this desire, like me, to communicate to people. and it's been such a pleasure to get to know you. So we send you our love. But also, you've got a Just Giving page that has been set up. Is that coming up now?
Yeah, she's putting it up now.
Right, it's coming up now. Now, Deborah Green has started this, and they were talking about 5,000. I'm sure they're going to get more than that, because actually, what's going to happen is that eventually, I suppose, you know, there's going to be financial needs, and remember that we are freelance. People like Steve and I are freelance. When we don't work, we get nothing. There's no government grant. That's it. Whatever. He earns, and whatever he doesn't, when he doesn't work, he doesn't get. So we pray that he can work as long as he can, actually, do what he can now, and we send you peace. And we say, we send you our love, and we hope we can send you our money too. We're going to go and we're seeing you next Thursday, to just person to person, and we pray for you this week. And all of those of you who don't pray, those of you who haven't got a faith, just send your positive thoughts across.
Yeah, they're all valuable.
They're all every single one. Because when we say pray, sometimes we think it's some kind of thing you've got to get down on your knees. No, it's sometimes just a thought. It's just a thought. You're saying, please help this person. And so we say that right now. We say, please help this person right now. So send your money if you can to the Just Giving. Or if you want to talk to me about any other way in which we can help them, in which way you can help them, then contact us directly on sue@jonathanveira.com, sue@jonathanveira.com, or through Messenger, and we can expedite that in some way. I want to sing a song. It's a big, big, big song. I very rarely sing it. It's so big, but this line, and it got me more than anything else when I was at my worst. He said, "No more night, no more pain, no more tears, never crying again." I mean, I used what I'd give to have that at that point. No more tears, never crying again. I sang to Ian. I remember sitting in the dialysis unit, and I just suddenly, it's 4.5 hours of treatment, and I just didn't know what to do with myself. And I looked to the future, and I thought, is this it? This is it. This is me now. I'm 59, 60, something like that, 59, 60. This is my life now, sitting in for 3 times a week in this place, and feeling bad for the rest of my life, however long that is. And I just started crying, and this woman came, lovely Polish nurse, she just sat down next to me, and she just held my hand for an hour while I just wept. Sometimes tears, we cry with you, but there'll be a time, thank God, when, and I mean that literally, when there will be no more night. We lost it.
No more night, no more pain, no more tears, never crying again, and praises to the great of the risen Lamb. The timeless theme, earth and heaven shall pass away. It's not a dream, God will make all things new that stay. Gone is the curse from which I stumbled and fell. Evil is banished to eternal hell. No more night, crying again, and praises to the great I am. We will live in the light of the risen Lamb. All around, now the nations bow down to sing. The only sounds are the praises to Christ the King. Slowly the names from the book are read. I know the King, so there's no need to dread. No more night, no more pain, no more tears, never crying again, and praises to the great I am. We will live in the light of the risen Lamb. See over there is a mansion prepared just for me, where I can live with my Savior eternally. No more night, no more pain, no more tears, never crying again, and praises to the great I am. We will live in the light of the risen
Now, if you get through some of the inscrutable text, that if you don't happen to know about Revelation and various other things, then you don't understand it.
I think that has helped a lot of people.
Right, and it's about hope, actually, and all this imagery that comes out here, you may not understand it all, and I don't understand it all either, but I think it's no more night, no more tears, no more pain, no more crying again.
And for people who need to hear that,
Yeah.
that was very, very
That was
special.
really powerful.
Very special.
And the reason, you see why I don't sing it,
Yes.
because
It's enormous. It's
enormous. And so I was a young man in Nashville singing that. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We have talking about Nashville. Oh, what? Piano. What have I got to do?
You were going to play something for Helen.
Oh, was I?
For her birthday.
Right, okay.
All right, just quickly. He did
Right.
promise.
Helen,
he
I
did promise.
did.
Helen Paul, it's your
Right.
birthday on Wednesday, so this is for you.
isn't everything, isn't everything. Oh, life isn't everything, isn't everything, isn't everything.
I did a concert over in Northern Ireland for the sufferers of AIDS, children who had been born with AIDS, and we were doing for a house for these children to live and die. Most of them wouldn't reach the age of 9 or 10. And these children dying all over the world, before the tsunami, in Africa, horrendous figures. And I look at it, and I look at my own 3 children, the whole idea of never seeing my children again because they're dying, because they do not have enough to eat. I am wrecked over that. I am outraged. I'm outraged, and we live in a place like Guildford where we throw more food away in one day than these people have for a whole year. And when I recorded this album with Paul Field about 2 years ago, he came up, he sent me some songs, and I'm going to sing a few of them now. And one of the songs was Child. And when I recorded it, I said to Paul, I want the children to come and sing it with me, to say, this is my Danny, whose voice is now broken. He's now nearly 14, and he recorded this. And Nicky, my other son, who's now 11, he also recorded it. And I've got another few children here who sung on the album. And it's just a great privilege to be part of that with them.
There's a child, tears in her eyes, staring down the war-torn streets. The burned-out tanks and empty shells lie all around her feet. Friends and family, home are gone. Her world is torn apart. She pays for someone else's politics with the scars across her heart. See this child with tears in her eyes.
Angels cry in heaven tonight for the children of the world. The kingdom's gates are open wide for every boy and girl.
They're searching for a savior, but who will show the way so the children of tomorrow can find the love they need? There's a child with pain on his face, staring out across the hill, where the trees and hard-baked ground are silent, lifeless still. His lost meal long forgotten, but his next may never come. Someone stole away his future before his life's begun. See this child with pain on his face.
Angels cry in heaven tonight for the children of the world. The kingdom's gates are open wide for every boy and girl.
They're searching for a savior, but who will show the way so the children of tomorrow can find the love they need? angels cry in heaven tonight for the children of the world. The kingdom's gates are open wide for every boy and girl. They're searching for a savior, but who will show the way? So the children of tomorrow, how they need a star to follow. So the children of tomorrow can find the love they need.
Gone to black.
And here we are. I played that, Ian. I haven't seen that for years now. And that was back in 2000.
That was 2005.
Before we met,
Yeah.
a long time before we met. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen. Give him a big round of applause, Mr. Ian Hamilton. Hooray!
Well, thank you, Jonathan and Sue. So great to be here, and thanks for the invite.
No,
Oh, it's lovely.
I was so glad that you accepted the invitation to come. I've been wanting to have you in for some time, as you know, and COVID was interrupting, and various people were ill, and we didn't want to get ill, and da-da-da-da-da.
And then I think earlier in the year I got ill, so we had to postpone.
Postpone again.
did.
So here we are.
Here we are, and it's lovely to have you, and you're such a big influence on my life. I like being friends with older men. What?
That was very sneaky.
Well, I'm
Very
sure
sneaky.
people looking are probably not getting that age difference.
No,
All right,
they
no,
can't
you do
see
look younger than me.
Actually, you have a lot more hair than Jonathan has.
Still not much, but
But Ian, I get this, every time I'm hearing your wee voice, it's like...
you've gone into your Welsh accent again.
All right, shut up. I'm going up to Scotland in a few days.
Oh, you're practicing.
I'm practicing getting up on the A74, you know that.
Okay.
That wee road.
Yeah.
Road.
I know it well.
Aye, that's right. Which way do you go, left or right?
I go left.
Left. Which way? Where were you originally from?
Glasgow.
Glasgow.
I was doing the accent there. Mine's supposed to be natural. I'm an exiled Scot. I was born in Glasgow, and my my family moved to London, or to North London, when I was age 10.
Oh, is that right? I didn't realise.
So
they'd
a
moved.
few years ago, I was sick. So I'm 71 now. So they moved in 1960 actually to live in Harrow.
Harrow. Oh, we dreamed of Harrow.
Not that part.
Not that.
Arrow.
Arrow without the H.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I was. I lived in Harlesden.
Yeah.
But you were brought up like me. You were brought up in the Brethren Assemblies, weren't you?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Our connection came because we had an almost identical upbringing, but 20 years apart.
Yeah. I remember my hair getting plastered down on a Sunday morning.
Yes.
And we'd
Brill cream.
Yeah, Brill cream or Silver cream, I think it was another one. And out to the morning service, back for lunch,
Yes.
out for
Sunday
school, back home, out for evening
service,
evening
gospel service, yeah.
And my dad, actually, who was clearly quite liberal, had got a Sunday Express, but if his friends came round, he hid it in the wardrobe.
Well, we never watched we weren't ever
No, television was definitely not on a Sunday.
I mean, it
But
was
there was
on.
nothing worth watching anyway.
No, that's right. I mean, it was Sunday night at the London Palladium, and we were. I never saw that. I never saw it until the reruns.
No.
It was a very odd upbringing, wasn't it? And in London, do you remember what assembly you used to go to in Harrow? Because I would have known. Was it not Uxenden?
It was called Oak Hall
Oh yeah, I remember it.
in Headstone.
Yes.
Yeah.
We would have gone there.
Yeah.
We would have gone there.
Oak Hall, yeah.
Because what they did in the Brethren is the speakers all came from
fellow brethren speakers for
Yeah.
fellow churches.
Yeah. And in Glasgow it was Busby Gospel Hall.
Oh, the Busby.
Busby Gospel Hall.
Did you know Albert Leckie and
I wasn't familiar with
him?
Albert, no.
But what about Mr. Faith?
Honestly, I was 10. You got
You were 10.
You got to remember.
But did you grow up there in Harrow? Why am I speaking in that?
I don't know, but I'm confused.
But did you grow up there? I mean, from 10 until what?
In Hatcham, the family home was there, and so basically until I left home in whenever that was, early 70s. Hatcham. I went to school there, not Harrow.
You didn't go to Harrow?
No, I didn't.
It's very disappointing. But your accent, it's so weird that you only moved when you were
10.
10. And the accent remained?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. And if I go back home, which isn't very often these days because I've got no surviving relatives, but when I go back home, it comes back with a vengeance. But it kind of moderates to wherever I am. I have worked and spent a lot of time in the States, so it becomes mid-Atlantic at times too. So I'm afraid
we're going to get to the States in a minute because you have lived a massive life. I mean, I might say it's very interesting when talking to Sue about the people that she meets in doing as a celebrant now. A lot of the people, they're ordinary people, and they've lived very small lives. They've often lived in the same house for 72 years. They didn't go anywhere. I think they went to Bognor Regis for their holidays, and it was, that was a real outing. And they'd never certainly been north of Watford. And the idea of going to one of the regional countries, to Scotland or Wales or Northern Ireland, it's absolutely not. And so their lives are very tiny. But it seemed to me, you had an enormous life, didn't you?
Well, I'm still having it, I think.
You are, aren't you?
I hope. But well, I was, as I said, 10 when we left. My dad worked for a Christian publisher in Glasgow. Some people may remember it, Pickering and Ingalls.
Yeah.
And actually, my dad was the founder of the first Christian music. There were actually two around the same time, so it was one of the first, and it was called Redemption Records. So it kind of
I do remember them.
Fairly clear what that was about.
Yes,
and that was for Pickering and Ingalls in Glasgow.
Right.
And then he got invited by a friend in London to come and start Herald Records.
Yes.
For Livingston Recordings. It was part of the Livingston group. It was a electronics group, but he started the recordings company. They had studios in Barnet, which was obviously not far from where we lived in Harrow. So that was kind of my background. My background was in this
publishing, I suppose,
and Christian music. But I mean, in those days, and we're still talking the 60s, it was incredibly conservative. I mean, contemporary Christian music had not begun at that point in time.
Can I just stop? Yeah,
it would be Derek's time.
Look at the camera though, but as you asked, go on. You were going to say about?
Oh yes, I mean Derek Phillips came in, didn't he? And he was talking about. Thank you, Rachel, putting me on screen. Yes, so he was talking about being around at that time. The Pilgrims.
The Pilgrims. He says them in 1962, and they were the first Christian band.
Well,
yeah. Do you remember?
I remember the Pilgrims.
Yeah.
Well, he's
absolutely.
One of the founding members is on the JV community, and he came and shared some songs and some pictures and so on. So
it was a very early sound, and it was very kind of like the Shadows, kind of very early Shadows type of stick a mic in the middle of the room and okay, off you go, boys.
My dad might well have recorded them. I don't remember. The other label was the Pilgrim label.
Right.
Yes.
So there were two labels. One was Pilgrim and one was Redemption.
Yeah.
So
and the Redemption would have been much more along hymns and.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was
organ and piano music.
Yes, it was, and a lot of it was imported American.
Yes.
Very traditional. Frank Boggs, George Beverly Shea.
Yes.
A lot of the soloists that were part of the Billy Graham organization.
It would have been songs. I mean, I'd rather have Jesus than silver or gold. I'd rather have Jesus than have riches untold. I'd rather have Jesus than houses or lands. I'd rather be led by his nail-pierced hands. Those were the kind of Billy Graham, Haringey type of the songs, and George Beverly, which I sung I heard him a lot. My parents had the hymn books and things like that.
Yeah.
That went with them, but they would definitely have had when they bought a record player, when they were able to buy one.
Yeah, and of course, initially it was 78s.
Yes, you really are. We're so old, aren't we? Oh my goodness!
It's almost pre-analog.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It is unbelievable.
Yeah. But anyway, so
Did you like that stuff?
no. I mean, I was a young guy. It didn't touch.
Rock and roll.
It didn't touch me.
No.
So I mean, I was 20. I'd been through business college. I was kind of kicking my heels at home. My dad kind of put me to work.
Well, were you a school? Did you like school?
No. And to be honest, reflecting now, I think my education really got kind of interrupted by the move from Glasgow,
Right.
And I never really recovered.
No.
So I
Was
mean,
why were you bullied at school and things like that? For the accent?
I honestly, I was teased.
Yes. Okay.
Nowadays, I have
bullying.
to be kind of careful on this one. I know.
No, it's okay, Rob. He's a bully. It's
Okay,
fine.
so
Don't worry.
I would say I was teased at school. Not nowadays. It comes, it'd be called bullied. But yeah, I mean, but I picked the biggest guy I could as my friend, and
A strategist from the beginning.
and he was it was a great strategy. So
That's really good, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was told to hit the biggest one. That was my
ironically, his name was Dennis Big. B-I-double-G.
See, I love this guy.
Yeah, it's true.
Seriously?
True story. Dennis Big. Yeah.
Did you keep friends with him after school?
Well, it's a really sad story. He died when he was 17 of hepatitis.
Oh dear, how sad.
Yeah.
My word. Oh, I don't know what to say about that. It's kind of, you kind of go, right, okay.
Yeah, it was funny up to that point.
Yes, it really was. We were going comedy, and then it's just tragedy.
Yeah. So I went to work for my dad.
Yes.
Kind of, because he was kind of fed up with me kicking my heels at home, and I had no intention of staying. Didn't see that was going to be my career because the music didn't touch me. But that was right at the beginning of the 70s and the advent of contemporary Christian music, which was kind of spawned out of the west coast of America.
With bands like what? What do you...
Well, Love Song.
Yeah.
I mean, the second chapter of Acts. I mean,
Second chapter,
they kind of came a bit later. Chuck Girard was in Love Song.
Gerard, oh.
Can I say...
Girard, one of the great voice. In fact, I recently kind of made contact with Chuck again.
Oh.
But I mean, his song, he did a couple of solo albums after Love Song, years after Love Song, and there's a song on one of them called Sometimes Hallelujah, which you probably
yes, I do. Yeah,
wonderful song. So wonderful, just a velvet voice.
Yes.
And a great writer.
It's funny, at the time, Chuck. My little addition to that was I remember Les Ball, who was our pastor in London at the time. He when I was probably 20.
You were 20,
21.
Yeah.
And I just started singing at the big crusades, the Billy Graham's all the type thing. It was Louis Pallow at the time. And I was being drafted in because I was one of the new boys on the block. And before I entered opera, basically. But just before we got married. And they wanted to launch, he wanted to launch me, he says, as the British Chuck Girard. That was what he thought was going to be the next thing. But I thought, and I remember thinking, he was a great voice. But there were lots of them at the time. It was a massive market.
Yeah, I mean, the 70s and into the early 80s was the really halcyon time for contemporary. It was a lot of fun. I mean, and part of, I'm sure it was my age. And there was an emerging UK scene. We met Paul Field in Nutshell.
Who sends his love. He wrote to me just about 3 days ago to say, could you please say hello to Ian? He was my first A&R man. Artist and repertoire, so he was your his first.
Yeah, well, my best friend Norman Miller, actually, who Paul worked very closely with, who sadly died about 10 or so years ago. But yeah, and Norman was in the Peacemakers. Because Norman went to live in the States, married Sheila Walsh, went to live in the States.
Remember Sheila Walsh? She had Rock Gospel here, the program And she went to the States.
So anyway, Norman and I first heard Nutshell, which was Paul's band, Pam and Heather and Paul, at Greenbelt, and I think it must have been 1974.
And Greenbelt, for those of you who don't remember or don't know, was a big Christian arts festival. That's what it used to be, wasn't it? About celebrating the Christian arts. That was the thing it used to do, and celebrated everybody from the world of secular or wherever it was from.
And so that was one of the first UK recordings that we put out. So my dad had eventually went to work for Word, or the company
Word
he was
Records,
he worked with was bought by Word in 1967, I believe.
Right.
And they were obviously leaders in contemporary Christian music with the Myrrh label, Barry Maguire, Second Chapter, and all these people. So
With Keith Green, he was on Sparrow, wasn't he?
yes, Keith Green was on Sparrow. Yeah.
But Keith, fantastic. He was one of those. Did you rate him? I loved.
Oh yeah.
I
Well,
loved
Keith
his stuff.
was unique. I mean,
he was.
in every way, really.
Oh, it was. Why should the devil have all the good music? No, sorry.
No, that was
For
Larry.
The devil don't believe in me. Larry, you did Larry Norman, didn't you?
Yeah, we did.
Of course,
Hold on.
we've got Sarah Emberley's just written to say, I've forgotten about this connection, that Pete, her husband, was in Love Light on Word Records and that you were in charge of the label then.
Really?
Yeah, so Pete Embry is a
That's-
staunch member on the community.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's definitely a name
nice
that rings a
connection.
bell. Yeah.
Yeah, nice connection.
Yeah.
Love Light, yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyway, we talked. Keith Green was those kind of people. They were giants, weren't they, in that time? And they stood up actually as Christians in not just in the world as well. They rated the music making was of really high class standard.
Particularly that coming out of the States, just because the production values were so high, because there was a lot of investment.
Yes.
I mean, a much bigger market, obviously, than the UK. So much more investment than we could afford to put into an album.
Yeah, yeah.
But there were significant. I mean, the first Nutshell album. I keep going back to that. But
Yeah.
in Your Eyes, I can tell you the catalogue number.
Go on then.
MYR 102999. I'm showing off a bit here.
That's sad. That's
Oh,
I
the
don't know
thing
whether that's
is,
sad
none
or
of us
that's
know
good.
whether you're right or wrong anyway.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, you could be lying. I could be
No,
MCP
but-
17452. I mean, who cares,
Yes.
right? But you do, and you remember.
And what was the cover?
Well, it was the three of them wandering around by a riverside, but Paul was wearing my suit for the photo shoot.
Your suit.
Your suit.
So anybody that can remember In Your Eyes, and Paul it was actually a lime green suit, but it was a black and white photo, so it was kind of wasted on that.
Wasted, yes.
And somewhere in that photo shoot, for some odd reason, was my dog, my Irish setter, Rufus. He appears in those photos too. So
Why was he there? Just wandered in.
a prop, I think. I mean, they wanted
something.
They wanted a prop and they wanted a suit. So there we are.
And you provided
And you
both.
provided both.
Yes, there we are. Yeah.
They were interesting days, weren't they? Because they were interesting days because us young people, we suddenly heard our music. I mean, bearing in mind I was training as a classical musician as well, but I heard rock and roll. I heard drums, and I don't think it can be overstated the massive change that was for churches. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah.
It's
I mean,
colossal.
huge, colossal. Yeah, and very exciting to be in the centre of for those years. And it was very significant just commercially, to the point where by the beginning of the 90s, those privately owned companies like Sparrow and Word were then bought by the majors, be it EMI,
Yes,
or
Christian. It became EMI Christian. Yeah.
CBS or RCA. I mean, they all invested. So by the middle of the 90s, all the privately owned companies had been bought by majors in the States, and that was just to reflect. At one point, I think 7% of the U.S. record industry was Christian music.
Gosh,
Which
that's
is
massive, isn't it?
It was bigger than
It was bigger than the whole of European sales, wasn't
it was
it?
bigger than folk. It was bigger than the minority taste labels like jazz, folk, contemporary Christian music, and its various spin-offs.
Yes.
Was bigger. So
It's completely changed now, of course, and certainly in this country. I mean, I think actually, I suppose the worship market has done something, but it's a diminishing market within this country.
yeah, I mean, what then emerged was the kind of worship market.
The Graham Kendricks
and probably delirious kind of they merged the two, didn't
Yes,
they? They merged contemporary or rock and worship. And then Hillsong came along, and it you know, it was very much contemporary worship.
Very much contemporary.
But rock.
Yes.
And so there were, you know, those 30 years, and I think those, I mean, you can almost plot the contemporary Christian music, the life of contemporary music in those 30 years, because after that it did kind of tend to disappear.
Yes, it did.
And kind of has done.
But why is that?
You know, I think in the latter part of the, or in the 70s, 80s, I think Christians didn't like their kids to buy secular albums.
No,
So they
no.
kind of encouraged them to buy
Like a subculture.
and I think, you know, by around the time of the two, coming up to the end of the 1900, going into the 2000s, that changed. And people, you know, people were of a different attitude.
Certainly,
I don't know. I was kind of I got out of it around that point, but not for that reason. I was in music. I was in Christian music for 30 years, really, from 70 through 2000.
I mean, that was a lot, and you signed an awful lot of people, didn't you? And then it changed a lot of people's lives. I think actually Christian music, it talked about issues. It talked about there would be faith-based issues. It wouldn't be. I mean, it would be worship as well. There'd be songs of, you know, Keith Green would always turn, you know, a song into a worship song or something like that. He would do both. He wouldn't do just one thing, but he would speak to people and he'd sing songs like Sheep and Goats, and it absolutely transformed my life.
Yeah, well, that was Songs for the Shepherd album.
Yeah, phenomenal.
Which was a phenomenal album.
It was. Yeah. I used to go to Borstal.
Can't give you the catalogue number.
No, thank you for that. I used to go to Borstal. To visit, not to be there.
Okay, I wonder where you were going there from.
And we used to go in, and I used to do talks to the lads, and I used to go in and play. And one of the songs I used to play it would be da da dim da da dim bam ba ba bam bam ba 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 did it did it did it did it did it bam ba bam bam ba da did it. Nobody believes in me anymore, and it used to talk to the boys. Yeah. You know, you put a line, itching ears to tickle whatever it was. Yeah. And I loved that song because it spoke. And Sheep and Goats the same thing. And he says, the only difference between what they did and didn't do. And it impacted my life. Powerful. It changed my life. And I use it now as one of the reasons we keep this going, this whole group going.
And of course, uniquely in concert, Keith, if you couldn't afford his albums, he would just give you one.
Yes. And that's what we have we've taken to do. Yeah. We've said to people, if you can't afford it, just take whatever you want. Yeah. And people go, what? And you go, and actually, because his generosity was genuine. Yeah. And that's the same. And I thought, actually, you can learn a lot from just giving it away. It's not, you don't have to, the money should not be the primary reason. I say to people, we have to have a living. We have to have a living. But if you can't afford it, I'd rather you take one and get help by it, you know, and get to use that common parlance, blessed by it, than not have one. And I think Word Records used to give, you have to get one, if you buy 5, get 1 free, wasn't it?
Okay, I was responsible for that.
That was you. Because we used to joke about it. Buy 1, get 5 free.
That was the Word Record Club introductory offer. I don't think. I mean, I think it was 3 for the price of 1.
Well,
whatever it was.
I joined that.
Yeah, and
did you?
I did.
You fool.
And
you fell for it.
And then every month, you would get an album of the month.
Yeah.
You know, either as an LP or a cassette.
Yeah. Yeah. A cassette.
Yeah.
I know. I did my first one on cassette. My first thing was on cassette. That was about
first recording.
30 years,
yeah. So unfortunately, I think there are a lot of people with a lot of kind of LPs or cassettes still hanging around that they never wanted, and I'm responsible for that.
Right, listen, can we just take a little break? Why don't we watch the video, actually talking about great music. We did an album way back in lockdown sessions, and I think actually it involved all of you lot. And you made an album. In fact, you made 3 albums, a fantastic Christmas album, an outstanding 2 other albums, Lockdown Sessions 1 and 2, and here's a song that you all recorded. You've Got a Friend.
When you're down and troubled and you nothing, oh, nothing is going right. Close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest night. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you gotta do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. You got a friend.
You just served me the smallest cup of coffee. Right? Be grateful.
Darkened full of clouds, and that old north wind begins to blow. Keep your head together now and call my name out loud. Soon I'll be knocking at your door. Oh, you just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Oh, oh, oh. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you gotta do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. Now, ain't it good to know that you've got a friend when people can be so cold? They'll hurt you and desert you and take your soul if you let them. But don't you let them. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you gotta do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. You got a friend. Oh, darling, you got a friend. My sweet darling, you got a friend. Oh, honey, you got a friend. Oh, darling.
Wow. That
Yeah, I
was
know.
fun.
And that was
Look at
you
you all.
lot.
Look at you all.
You lot. If you remember, those of you who don't know, they gave you lot gave £34,640 to make those albums, and we managed to do them with some of the best musicians in the country, of course, because everybody was unemployed. So it was great, and we absolutely exploited them all. We didn't. No, we really didn't. Well, we've got some fantastic players on there, and if you want one of those albums, lockdown sessions 1, 2, or 3, then you just go on the website. You can listen before you buy, and I recommend buying the Christmas one very, very soon, so while stocks last. Now, that was you singing. We heard about all the people that you had signed and heard singing and worked with, Larry Norman. Why should the devil have all the good music and all of that? And then conning people out of 3 for 1 and 1 for 3 and all those albums that were terrible.
But
They weren't all terrible.
No,
but,
they weren't all terrible. And
but,
it
but
actually,
you know, we had to find 12 albums of the month.
It's true.
And you know, you had to
record a lot.
It did scrape the barrel a little bit at times, and for that I apologise.
I'm not even going to ask
you
names.
were giving them opportunities.
You were giving people opportunities to record that wouldn't normally have recorded, and that's actually, and it's also
They were returnable, and you could always tell, you know,
the ones that weren't.
the weak ones.
They all came
But you knew which were weak. I'm sure you did as you were putting them out. Have you still got, just a question before we move on, do you still have a love for music?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Because you still listen
I
with them?
I listen to a huge amount of music. Yeah, I mean, streaming now, obviously. I've moved on from 78s.
So you can listen to everything you want to.
Yeah, yeah. I you know, sadly, I think I don't really listen to a lot of Christian music these days.
No.
No.
And why do you think that is? What's that? Is that a personal faith thing? The way that your faith has moved away from that stuff, or?
No, I just you know, I think it's just down to the quality of the music. You know, I'd much rather listen to Sting.
Present company excluded. of
Present
course.
company excluded. I was about to say that.
Not quite.
I don't, but then, no, you see, to be fair, I mean, I think actually one of the things that I tried to do was do always this mix, which you as an A&R person was always going, well, I remember you saying to me, you know, it's
difficult to pigeonhole.
It's difficult to pigeonhole. And I never cared about that. And I was always going, well, I sing this because this is what I do. And I sing Mozart and I sing rock and roll, a bit of gospel. So I'll sing Happy Day and I'll write a song that I want to do and I'll do so I tended to do what I wanted to do.
Yeah, you're an A&R nightmare.
Yeah, I am. And I knew I was always a nightmare for concert work as well. Because I'd go in and do it. And the one-man show thing is a nightmare for that reason. However, because I know that records you sell, you know, I remember when Le Chic was selling, you know, back in the 80s, 90s. Freak Out, Freak Out, and nearly every track on the album was almost identical. The drum sound, everything, so that people went, I recognise that, I'll buy it. Yeah. So, and I get why they did it, but from a classical music point of view, what we always do is variety. We always do different things, and so it's one thing. It's never the same thing. But from a pop music sense, it was different. You then, in the late 90s, 2000s, tell us what happened. What changed?
Well, I mean, I was always aware of compassion because compassion and the Christian music industry or artists always had worked very closely together. So a lot of the artists that we had worked with were partnering with Compassion to get kids
sponsored.
Yeah.
Can you just tell people who Compassion was, and what happened? What do they do as a charity?
Child development organisations. So at the time we were in 26 countries. I don't quite know how many it is these days. Supporting, you know, over 2 million children now, and basically, but supported by, and if you go to see Compassion in the field, you don't see Compassion, you see the local church. So we support the local church to identify the poorest kids, and I say we, you know, that was interesting.
That was,
I still say that.
Yes.
That,
but you were there for a long time.
Yeah, I was, and and it was my life's work, Jonathan. I mean, not Christian music wasn't.
That's interesting.
My 20 years at Compassion were my life's work. Because it was just such a meaningful time.
Well, why did you change from something that wasn't your total passion to something that became that?
Well, so I was aware of Compassion because of the connection with the music industry, as I was saying, the artists. I got asked, so Compassion had not been raising funds in the UK, and they wanted to set up Compassion UK. Compassion did. They had already set up Compassion.
They were based in America.
Yeah, it was started by an American to the military in Korea. He saw the plight of the Korean orphans, after the Korean War. Those were the origins of.
Goes a long way back.
Way back. Yeah, Everett Swanson. So he. Sorry, what did you ask me?
What you changed from from your label of being in Christian music too, but why? Why did you change?
So I got asked when Compassion UK was being set up. Sorry, that was a senior moment.
You thought about food that you haven't eaten.
Is it okay to have a senior moment?
No, it's not. Okay. Because I don't want old friends. Okay, I want young friends.
Okay, sorry about
I
that.
don't know what his Jonathan's excuse is.
Okay.
So what did you say?
Okay, I got invited to join the board of trustees of Compassion UK. And long story short, we took trustees and other people to see the work, as we did with you many years after that. So I got taken to Uganda by Tony Neves, who was my chair at Compassion UK and had started Compassion UK on behalf of Compassion International. I got taken to Uganda to see the work, but also we took somebody with us who we thought might be somebody who would be a CEO potential. Well, it became fairly soon. I'm not going to name him, but it became fairly evident fairly quickly into the trip that this wasn't going to be. He wasn't going to be the right guy. But the longer, and it was probably a 10-day trip. The longer it went on, the more and more convicted and compelled I got by what I saw. I'd never been. I mean, I was aware of poverty, of course, but from thousands of miles away. But this was the first time, that I'd seen it up close and personal. Touched it, smelt it. I mean, every sense, assaulted me. And but I got incredibly convicted. Came back, and I think I was 49 at the time, and I had been in Christian music for 30 years. I wasn't sure I wanted to stay there forever.
Apparently, you got to keep it closer.
Okay, sorry. My microphone skills are lacking.
Yes,
obviously.
obviously.
I was never the artist. I was always the
in the background.
Yes. It was just compelling and convicting, and I came back and said, I think this is something I need to be more involved with.
Do you think it was a God moment for you?
No, undoubtedly, yeah. No, I mean, probably the loudest I've ever heard God in my life. And I'm not one of those people who say they've heard God a lot, but I definitely did on that occasion. It was it was a big prompt. But I think I was ready. I think I was ready for a career change too. Just from thinking at it from a practical point of view, I'd been in Christian music for 30 years. Yeah. It's a young man's game.
Yes.
What I did was really marketing, and I felt the role that was needed at Compassion UK was a marketing one, because to get the message out, get the brand out, recognition, and get sponsors in. So anyway, again, long story short, I was one of 3 trustees given the responsibility to find a CEO. I had to withdraw from that committee and threw my cap in the ring, and I was appointed in September. So I was the founding CEO of Compassion UK, and I had to extract myself. In the latter years in Christian music, we had started our own company, Alliance Music.
Yes.
So I had to kind of extract myself from that. So I kind of did 2 jobs, but full time from January 2001 with Compassion UK, and I was there for 20 years until I was at Compassion UK until 2016, and then I went to work for the US organization, but still based in the UK for my last 5 years. I retired a couple of years ago.
It was a significant time for you, wasn't it? I mean, I think you say it was one of the big compelling. I remember, this is a personal thing, you approaching us and saying, you know, we'd like to work with you, and I didn't know what, if I'm honest, I didn't know what that meant, because we'd always just done our concerts, we'd just done what we'd done. I'd lived in a commercial world, I'd just done commercial music for 30 years or whatever it was, and suddenly there was this nice guy coming and speaking and saying, would you be involved? And I said, well, I don't mind. You know, I remember saying to you recently, I just thought you meant, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, it's fine. I'll let you come and be at the back. It's a lovely thing. And I didn't mind. That was it, really. I didn't.
Well, we were just starting doing the one-man shows as a sort of permanent thing.
Permanent
throughout
thing
the
away
year.
from opera.
We'd always done mainly opera with a bit of. With a little bit of the one-man shows in between, wherever the gaps were, I would fit them in. And recordings. And we just felt that 2012 was going to be the year of you just doing one-man shows and seeing how that worked. And I was going to say yes to every offer that came in. And then
65 shows in that year.
And as part of that was the Compassion connection. So towards the end of 2011, that's when we started talking to Ian about what to do.
And Ian knew, because I think it happened to him. You knew
He
once
was
I saw
sneaky.
it.
He was sneaky.
No, it was a slam dunk, as the Americans would say. No, absolutely, and that, and, you know, obviously that was your experience, but it was, you know, I guess I was fortunate having a fairly large network from the Christian music industry of friends and, you know, people I could kind of call in favors from. Who became ambassadors and advocates on our behalf. So, you know, you and many others were able to give us that platform at your concerts and allow us to have, you know, some display at the back and a moment to get a kid sponsored. And it grew, you know, it grew very fast. We were
because a lot of people say, well, adverts don't tend to bring people in, do they? I mean, you put an advert and it gets great brand recognition, but that's it. And I think people like David Airy, who's out there listening to this now, you know, they were serious advocates for people at big events, small events, or whatever.
Oh yeah, the advocates and the ambassadors. I mean, they were our real heroes because they were at the coalface, you know, whenever there was an opportunity.
Yes.
And so, you know, no, I mean, space advertising is good just from a recognition point of view.
Yes.
And, you know, it's that whole marketing thing. You got to the message's got to be put in front of you X number of times
before you even think about it. Yeah, exactly right. But you took us out. Rick, could you just a couple of pictures? This is from 2012, I think. So it's now 11.
Yes, look, what do we have
in
here?
in Ethiopia.
Yes, we all went out in January 2012, and there's the team by the bus. So that's Ian and I. There was Alex.
And I was taking a
there
picture.
The lovely guys who were involved in making the video that we did out there.
Yes. What were their names? Tim and, wasn't it Tim or something other? And you see, and Ian always sat at the back of the bus.
Yes, kept an eye on us.
Do you remember that? I couldn't. I couldn't find the picture.
Can you remember, Ian, the time when we were going down on a trip and we broke down on the dual carriageway, as it were, and the little van that we were in just stopped, and so we tire needed changing or something. Jonathan, ever mindful of safety, went, but we could be driven into because there was no hard shoulder. And so he walked up the road in his flowing white shirt and his tofu trousers, as the boys called them, and flagging down the traffic.
I do recall this.
It was sensational.
I can picture it now.
And there were all these guys going, what's going on over here? There's something happening.
Justin was the... JB was the traffic code.
It was the traffic because everybody started coming over.
Yeah, so we got an audience, didn't we? All these people coming. What's he doing?
No, I can picture it. It was a puncture, I think.
It was a puncture. That's right.
Yeah.
I think it was the right side tyre,
yeah.
and it was. We were all in there. Something like there were probably 8 or 9 of us in this high ace or high archade, whatever, on the way to Lemlem, I think it was.
Did travel really fast down those dual carriageways, so you were right to be aware of it.
The most dangerous thing we could ever do on those trips was actually be in those vans. Yeah. I mean, the fatalities.
I know.
In those vans were
and nobody talked about it, but but
No,
we
not
knew.
till we got home.
No, and I think actually, you felt safe in the hotel, didn't you?
Yeah.
As long as you didn't
Yes.
drink the water.
Eat the food.
Or eat the food. No, the food was,
But
don't eat
it
salads, that was what it was.
was the most extraordinary
was
time
true.
of our lives. And you knew, Ian, that was going to happen. You just knew it.
Yeah.
And it meant that whenever Jonathan talked about it, he talked passionately and with that first-hand experience. But we will never forget that experience.
That first.
Of
Do you
being
remember
in that little
hut?
house.
I don't remember. And we still sponsor 2 children now. I think the price has gone considerably higher than it was then. But and we went in, and the first time I remember being in that hut, and there was a child. They slept on plastic flooring.
Plastic
in this
sheeting.
hut. Was it Lem Lem? I think we went to.
You said Lem Lem was the next day.
Oh, that's right,
That was the more advanced one. This was just a small hut that we
Yes.
went into, and there was a young mother with 2 children, no husband. I think he'd gone to
He'd
look
gone,
for work and
never
never
come
reappeared.
back.
And I think the question we asked her was, "Where do you sleep?" And she just indicated the floor, and she said, "Well, we put a plastic sheet down, and we get down on this
And
sheet."
I said, "What's happened to the child?" And she said, "Oh, those are rat bites on the child's eyes."
Yeah.
And I just broke
You
down.
just broke down, didn't you?
They were filming me, and you were standing close by me, and I left. I said, "I can't." I walked out of the hut, and I said, I was so appalled. I was so shocked, and that was it. You had me at hello. I think that. Was,
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the way I felt in Uganda in 2000. That compelling, convicting moment. That's that. I mean, it never failed to resonate going back in those situations, but that first time, which was that Ethiopia was your first
Yes,
time, is
yes.
profound. I mean,
and it stays with you.
Yes.
life changing.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is
but as a result, to use a cliche, you change lives.
Yeah.
Yes.
We did
Yes.
feel that, actually. And though the numbers were never what we wanted them to be, we knew that each child that we transformed the life of would feel the effects of that money going to them because of the value of the pound against the whatever the currency was in their country. And we thought, actually, I didn't feel embarrassed ever at saying this is right. This is the right thing to do, because there was always criticism, wasn't there, of the form, i.e., tier fund versus compassion. And that was a false dichotomy. it
Well,
felt
there was,
for me.
I think one of the unfortunate aspects of the development world is that, critical analysis that goes on of programs, and there is no development program that's perfect. I mean, they're all imperfect. That's a hugely imperfect world out there. But I think that was the hardest part for me, was actually hearing some of that. And Compassion had its very specific developmental model, which was 1-to-1. We supported a child.
Yes. For years.
For years, and we were criticised for that. But the reality is that if it was a family of 5, then whatever resources then were left in the family, those would be spent on 4, not on 5 children.
Yes.
And also there was this incredible sharing that goes on within families too, that we probably don't relate to in quite the same way from a first world situation. So it profoundly changed tens of thousands of lives, and you played a significant part in that. Compassion UK, we from that outset to, and this sounds like a bit of a brag now, but it is, but I do see it as my life's work. We grew it to over 102,000 children by the time I stepped out in 2016, and that was me and a team. I mean, this wasn't,
of course.
and you were part of that team.
You make,
But
it's the puzzle, isn't it? It's the
but
big.
you just think about that. 100,000 kids.
I know you
Amazing.
You can't actually. That's like all the people in Guildford, all the children, isn't it? There must be something like 50,000. Well, most of the children that go to schools in this borough, in this little country. Yeah. And you just think, how could you? That's the whole of Wembley Stadium in children. Yeah. And you think, now, is that significant? Yes, that's massive.
One significant.
Yeah,
obviously.
Do you know one of the things that struck me? I don't know whether it struck you, but I remember, and I used to use this about waterborne diseases. And I quoted a figure that 12,000 people died in Ethiopia at that time. 12,000 people died from children died from waterborne diseases each year. And I said, if one child in this country died because the water wasn't pure from coming out of the tap, if one child died, there would be national outrage. But because they were African, they were black, it didn't really matter, it wasn't us, we don't want to know. And I just said, come on, this is something that we can change. And I did feel that actually, when I came back, I played this, I remember going straight to the Guildford Civic Hall, and there was a massive audience, I think we had 1,000 people there. And I stood up and I said, I'm outraged, all of you, I'm outraged. Aren't you outraged? They went, no, not really, you know. And I realised that it took you taking me there to see it for us to be outraged. All the way back on the plane, we were talking about it, all the way back on the plane. Every hotel, once we'd been to Lemlem and once we'd been to another village, travelling outside of the main drag of Addis Ababa, you knew that I couldn't leave it alone.
Yeah, and then every time you spoke, Jonathan, because you're such a passionate person, that passion and outrage, you talked about that, communicated that to the audience.
Yes.
And that's why it was. That's why that was so effective.
Yeah, it was. Well, I know.
So
Ian,
thank you.
But thank you for changing our lives.
It did change
because
our
I would
lives.
have, opera. Let's be absolutely honest. And even Christian music, you go along and you see some people, but you don't really see grinding poverty. You don't see $1 a day type poverty. It's changed you for life. Now you don't do it anymore into that degree. Are you still involved in any way in shaping policy or going back to America and dealing with people there, or is it a complete blank?
No, when I stepped down from CUK in 2016, as I say, I had 5 years working with the US in various capacities to try and open new opportunities. But I was fast approaching 70. And I felt, but I'd worked 50 years of my life, and I thought, what, I'm going to
spend time with the wife.
I'm going to kick back a bit. So that's kind of that's been what I've been doing for the last year and a half, 2 years. And in the meantime, 8 grandkids later.
I know, and you're very heavily involved, and the lovely Penny, and you're spending more time together, and that's a thing.
I think she's happy about that, John.
Yeah, it's taken some time, no doubt it has. But we'd be delighted to have you in and talk about who you are and what your passions are. One of the things that we only get people into this room who are seriously passionate about what they do, and often we see people changing from what they did to what they do. What they did, because that's where you go, and it's you do this for years and years, and then you change, and we can change our direction. And you were a classic case, weren't you? You come from a commercial market into something which is suddenly changing, really big change for people's lives.
But you started by asking me about, you've lived a big life, and actually it's kind of interesting reflecting and just thinking about those 2 segments of my life, 30 years in music and 20 at Compassion, and what a... Yeah, it was. I mean, there were good, exciting times, and with great opportunities. But what a privilege, in both careers. What a privilege it's been. And I know words are cheap, but I genuinely, sincerely mean that.
And that's why, Ian. That's why our friendship remains. It's a lovely thing
we've had some laughs, haven't we?
We have. We really have. In so many
You're
times.
a good influence most of the time.
Most of the time. Well, you should be at our lunches.
I don't know who's leading whom.
Well, actually, no. The last time we went, we looked at the prices and we went, we'll have just a starter.
we were quite restrained, weren't we?
We were, weren't we?
I don't think it was economics. I think we were just...
We just were careful. It was nice. We had a lovely lunch. And our friendship, long may it continue, because I think actually, well, it will. Can't see how you end a friendship like this. It's built on friendship, passion, shared past, and all of this stuff, experiences and things that matter. Yeah. And I think as I've got older, I think I've cast off the ones that don't matter. We haven't got time for those, but the ones that do matter.
We won't name them.
No, we will not name each one of them. Ian, we're going to have to sing a song and we're going to have to go.
Well,
Sue, do you want to come and join me?
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Oh, it's such
appreciate
a joy. Stick around. We'll sing the song.
And those that are listening that have got too many LPs or cassettes in their drawers, I apologise again.
No, you don't. You don't really care at all, do you? Let's be honest. You were thrilled to sell them to us. Now I'm trying to work out who were the ones who are really awful. And I have a good idea, but I'm not going to name names. But I know when I'm going to recommend that Paul looks back on these and on this programme, and I know that he will be one that was very. Would you mind? I've got one. Oh, I've got one cheek on the stool. It's a double stool. How big is your bottom, for goodness sake?
Not my fault that the camera's in the wrong place.
Okay, here she is, the glamorous. You look. It does feel like Joan Armatrading, doesn't it? Kind of. Rachel's been
Thank you, Rachel.
with us again. When do we see them again?
The 21st, I think, is it?
21st.
Is that right?
Yes, I believe so. And we'll be putting
Sorry
notices.
about that, chaps.
Plug in everybody.
But we will be on YouTube. I'll putting some little pictures up and little videos of him.
We'll be doing videos. Oh, we've got to go and do JV on location.
Yes.
I've got to do that.
No, you
I know it's very
Do
on
it
the
all.
farm. I've got
Do it
to
all.
do etchings. I have. You have no idea what's coming up. It's great stuff coming up. Stay tuned to JV Stuff in the Steinway Room and just stay part of the community. Help each other, really do good. And remember to do little acts of kindness. Unremembered acts of kindness, as Wordsworth said. And this one. Go peaceful, thank you, Paul Field, in gentleness through the violence of these days. Give freely, show tenderness in all your ways. Now Sue's going to join. You up for this tonight? Yeah, okay, all right.
Just close my eyes.
Close your eyes while you're doing it, right? Give that kind of rock feel. Through darkness, in troubled times, let holiness be your aim. Seek wisdom, let faithfulness burn like a flame. God speed you, God lead you, and keep you wrapped around his heart. May you be known by love. And this week we send out big love to all of you who are really needing a handheld. And I thought about it today, actually, about loneliness. I think about our friend Roger Sutton, who lost his beloved wife, and he's working still for church unity around the world, but he has to come back to an empty house, and each time the hurt of that gets him. So loneliness, for those of you, people like Liz Ormiston, who's out there, and you're on your own, and you've lost your husband, if you've lost Tracy, we think of you as well. And actually, if you're just feeling lonely, goodness, we know what that's like.
If you're struggling with whatever you're struggling with, actually.
Yeah, we think of you this week, okay? And just leaning on the everlasting arms. Be righteous, speak truthfully in a world of greed and lies. Show kindness, see everyone through heaven's eyes. God holds you, enfold you, and keep you wrapped around his heart. May you be known
enfold you and keep you wrapped around his heart. May you be known by love.
Do you know, I was just thinking, actually, I don't know whether my sister's watching, but she had a
She had a birthday this
birthday of
week.
65. How could she be 65?
No.
Oh my goodness, my sister. She came and helped us
Sister
with
Ruth.
Martin yesterday in the gig, and we thank her for doing that. And I'm sending big love out to my mother too. She reminds you. She said sometimes she's on her own,
She's lonely.
and now Dad's living in a care home, so we send big love out to her. And this one, the one I wrote all those years ago, that has become a kind of a little anthem, a simple anthem. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and give you his peace. It's from Numbers chapter 6, way back in the Old Testament. The Aaronic blessing, not as Sue thought it was, the ironic blessing. That's completely different. And this one, she's just not, you're not that theological, are you, darling? You're working on it, I know. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine on you. The Lord bless you and keep you and give you his peace. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine on you. The Lord bless you and keep you and give you his peace and give you his peace. Sing it along if you know it. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord turn his face toward you. The Lord bless you and keep you and be gracious to you. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord turn his face toward you. The Lord bless you and keep you and be gracious to you and be gracious to you. So remember, this week, do what you can for others and see where you can go and have a cup of tea with somebody, help somebody, hold their hand, chat to them. Do the simple things, do them well. Don't try and be complicated and bless others. And here it goes like this. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine on you. The Lord bless you and keep you and give you his peace and give you his peace. Rachel, could you just put Ian back on the camera just for 2 seconds? It's lovely to have you, and just a last sentence from you before you go.
Well, just what a pleasure it's been, and what a blessing just to sit here and listen to the two of you singing together. It's a wonderful experience.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lovely
God bless
to see
you.
you.
Thanks, Ian, for coming in. God
Love
bless
you,
you and good
everyone.
night.
Take care. See you soon.
See you soon. Bye. Bye.